Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm gonna talk to you guys about my prostatitis problem that I've been dealing with for now a year and 4 months. Just the fact that I got misdiagnosed like by 4 different urologists, man. It's just so painful now that it just hurts me so bad because I went through so much with these urologists, man, that they don't care, man. They don't. It was like 5 of them actually, but 4 of them are the ones that misdiagnosed me. So it started with me having testicle pain. I was at work, lifting heavy stuff, construction. I was on top of a stage, next to a window. There's no balance in there, so you're just moving around the entire time. Your hips are just moving. And let me just tell you something before that. So 3 months before this job, I broke my foot. So I had a cast for like 2 months, and then I got that job, and then I started working there. I was there for a few months. So just so you know, I had a broken foot first, and then I went to work. Working regular. By 11 o'clock, I started feeling this testicle pain. Just very light testicle pain. And I thought, well, maybe it hurts. Well, in my head, I'm like, well, it probably hurts because I've been lifting heavy stuff. Didn't think nothing of it, just continued working because that's what we do. We just work. Next thing you know, I'm going home and I'm still driving. I'm driving stuck in traffic and I'm still in pain. So, still in pain. I'm like, okay, this is getting pretty weird. Got home, took a shower, ate, but I still had the pain, not understanding what was going on at the time. So it was during the pandemic. It was actually September 2020. So it was hard to get in to the doctor. So I called the doctor. I waited a while. I actually started working, kept working like that. Didn't think nothing of it, but the pain wouldn't go away. As a matter of fact, it started increasing little by little. It started getting worse. So I'm like, okay, I gotta schedule an appointment. Called the doctor, set up an appointment. It was all crazy at the time, like, oh, you can't come in and blah, 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 because, it was all rough, wild because of the pandemic. It was supposedly at the time when it was like full-blown pandemic. And so I go to my doctor. I told my doctor, you know what? I've been having testicle pain for a while now. This is about a month, about a month in, and I'm still going to work. So he was like, well, I'm going to give you some painkillers. So he gave me like ibuprofen 800, I believe, and then he gave me something for an STD, I guess, some type of medication for STDs. And he said, this is going to take it away, whatever it is, But he gave me an STD test and all this stuff. It was just a regular urine analysis. So everything came back negative because I got that Kaiser thing. So it showed up 2 days later. I got the results negative. So I called him and I left him a message or whatever. And then he said not to take the painkiller, not to take the medication if I don't have if I don't have an infection. So he said he was going to schedule me a urologist appointment. So I got scheduled one. It took a long ass time to get it, almost 2 months. So I worked another month like that. Now it's November. I'm in really pain now. Like the pain is bad. September, October, November is when I stopped working because it was bad. So, and I had to wait like another month for me to see the urologist because of the pandemic, like I said. So everything was delayed. And then finally I got to the urologist. I kept just taking the painkillers and trying to stay, focused on not going crazy. At this point already, I was in pain already. Got to the urologist. Urologist is kind of clueless. He just looks at me and he was like, well, it could be an infection. I was like, well, what kind of infection? Because they tested me for something, I don't know if you got any more tests I could do. Just give me another urine sample. Took another urine sample. Came back negative. Same shit. I was in pain. I told him, hey, man, I need answers. Whoa, he gave me I think he really gave me like Cipro or something like that. He gave me Cipro and I started taking that. And I think it was like a 2 weeks Cipro. Oh, it's going to go away. He was like, oh, it's going to go away. It's just no big deal. It's just probably a little infection that is in there. So he gave me the Cipro. I took it. Nothing happened. I'm still in pain. It's getting worse now. I'm developing all these weird pains now, like everywhere else. Not only in my testicle, I started getting like inner leg pain. which is pretty crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of thigh, but I didn't think nothing of it because I was like, oh, maybe I'm just being paranoid. But I noticed that I started getting leg pain, and so I called the doctor, and I couldn't get no appointment with them because it was the pandemic again. So I had to get like a Zoom meeting, so I got it, blah blah blah. I'm talking to him and I'm telling him what's going on. So he was like, well, I'll schedule you for an ultrasound. So this is already a month already passed, all right? A month. I'm already 3 months in, terrible pain. It just started getting worse. So now I went from a little bit to like really bad because I kept working, so I probably aggravated it, made it worse. So now, almost 3 months or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I need to get an ultrasound. So I got the ultrasound, everything came back negative, same thing. Oh, you didn't see anything? But I had a vasectomy 3 years before that. So in my head, I was thinking it was the vasectomy that went bad, but it was 3 years before, and I never had a problem with it. And then kept bugging the urologist, kept going, and then it got to the point that it was like 4 months, almost 5 months, and he's giving me injections in there, saying, well, it's your nerves are probably just acting up, just an injection is gonna make it better. Never told me what I had. Never once said what I had. Didn't say anything. He didn't tell me nothing. So I was so frustrated, man. I went this is like almost 5 months later. I just said, fuck this. So sorry for cussing, but I went and talked to a different urologist out of Kaiser. I switched providers or whatever. I got a PPO, and then I went to another urologist, and this urologist said, well, you have epididymitis. And I was like, epididymitis? And he was like, yeah, you have epididymitis. I'm going to give you some more pills. So I'm taking all these crazy pills. Nobody's telling me anything about the pills. I'm so ignorant because I never take pills. I have never really taken any pills in my life. I always cure myself with just being healthy. I've been healthy all my life, pretty much. Fit, not buff, just, cardio and, exercise. Never stretched. That was my problem. But so he gave me doxycycline for 6 weeks. So I'm taking doxycycline, taking it. And at that point, I started developing anxiety and depression. This is already like almost 6 months, into this shit. And I started developing like anxiety, and it was rough. It started getting worse because I started developing like butt pain, hip pain. Then I couldn't sit down. It just got to the point that I even couldn't sit anymore. So it went from just an achy testicles to I couldn't sit. That's when I went to see the other urologist, the last one, it was like the third one already because I skipped, the Kaiser thing. It was like the third one, fourth one. Yeah, it was like the fourth one because I went through different urologists at Kaiser. I just want to skip that part. So I'm with the fourth one or whatever, and he's telling me I have epididymitis. So I'm taking the pills. Fast forward, 6 months passed, nothing happened. I'm still in pain. Now it's worse. Like I got anxiety. I'm fucking going crazy. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? Come on, please. I started getting worried, man, because now it's like, okay, this is serious. Now I got all these pains and shit, and nothing's going away. And they kept telling me that I had epididymitis. I was the first doctor that said you got epididymitis. So I was looking for epididymitis, but it didn't say anything about, anything else. It's just like an inflammation on top of the testicles. So I was just, I didn't look for anything else at the time. So I started getting worried, and then finally, I told him, man, I can't take this no more. This is too much. So he ordered another ultrasound. Got the ultrasound, and he said, well, you got a varicocele in there. Is it big? It was like, well, that could be causing your problem. He never got into details. He just said it could be your varicocele. So I scheduled a varicocele embolization. So now he gave me this varicocele embolization. So now I'm going crazy. I scheduled the surgery. I got it done. They told me it was going to take about 2 weeks for the swelling to go away. And man, let me tell you something, man. My left testicle was swollen, like so bad. It was so painful, and more pills. After that, I developed an ulcer. I got I had a esophagus ulcer. It was like almost right here, almost like getting into the stomach. I couldn't eat anything. It was so painful. I was in testicle pain, and then I had a vicious ulcer that was just destroying me. So they couldn't give me any more antibiotics. I couldn't get any more a lot of the stuff I couldn't take because it was so bad. So now I'm worried because I'm like, okay, now they're gonna give me different pills. How am I gonna get cured? So I'm waiting and waiting, and then then I said, you know what? Nah, I gotta get the hell out of here. So I moved out of that doctor and I went out of Kaiser, out of that other PPO, and went and looked for other answers. And they told me that, oh, maybe if you reverse your vasectomy, maybe the pain is gonna go away. Okay, now I got another new thing in my head, like, okay, I gotta reverse my vasectomy. I did it, I scheduled it. It cost me about $10,000. Okay, so I went out of pocket because they don't, hospitals don't do that shit. So I went, got a vasectomy reversed. So now I'm in really pain. Like I can't take all these antibiotics because I got an ulcer. So he's just trying to give me the things that I could take. Like I could use probably Tylenol. I could take and stuff like that. It was rough, man. It was terrible. He gave me this thing called, I think, levofloxacin or whatever, Keflix, one of them. And it gave me like a bad reaction, man. I started, I'm not even making this up, man. I took that antibiotic. I think it was levofloxacin or one of them. I started hearing things, man. I started hearing people clapping and talking in my ear. Like it was the nastiest side effect I've ever had in my life. I felt like I was going crazy, man. I took it like 2 days and I said, I ain't taking this. I called him and I said, hey, man, I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing people talking to me. What the hell's going on? He's, oh, stop taking it. Don't do that no more. So then I started developing my arm started hurting, my left arm. It was just a scary ass moment. I'm in pain. Testicles are swollen like apples. It was bad. The swelling came back down. I'm waiting and waiting. They told me, well, it's going to take about 3 months to 6 months for it till you can feel better. Okay, fast forward now, it's already been what, 3 months, and I'm in pain, man, like really bad pain. But now the pain kind of went away, and I only had a left testicle, achy left testicle, but I still had the butt pain. Now, I had my back pain, my leg pain. I couldn't sit down still. So I'm like, okay, it feels almost the same, but I only have one. It was only one side that was hurting, only the left testicle. So I'm upset now because I'm like, okay, this thing didn't go away. I'm calling the doctor. And it's gonna take about 6 months. 6 months passed and I still got the left testicle pain. So I was like, you know what? F this. Now it's been a year almost, you know what I mean? It's about a year. It's about a year now. And a year and 1 month actually. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I started searching around, searching. I'm like, you know what? Something else is wrong with me. I just started searching, and I came across, this thing called pelvic floor. You know what I mean? Like epididymitis. Prostatitis. Chronic pelvic pain, whatever. I don't know what it was called, but I started looking into that, and I started noticing that all those things that were going on that were happening to me. I'm like, wait a minute. I got the butt pain. I got can't sit down. I'm constipated all the time. It was just one of those things, and I'm like, what the hell? So I started looking into that, and then I came across a video that some dude was talking about that he had, prostatitis, and, but it was a non-bacterial prostatitis. And I can't remember his name. I want to give him the credit. I'll put it on another video. I started watching this guy. I think his name is Ian, something like that. And I started watching his videos, and he's describing a lot of things that I had. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? So I went into his YouTube and started watching how he was doing stretches, and that helped him. And then I started doing the stretches, started doing stretches. And then I started doing stretches for like 3 months. I remember doing them, one in the morning and one at night. It was 30 minutes every day. I was dedicated because I was desperate. And then little by little, my butt pain went away. Then my in leg went away. The inner thigh pain went away. Then I was getting close to being able to sit down, man. I was getting really close to being able to sit down. I was already almost 3 months. And I was like, okay. And I told my wife, hey, you know what? I can sit down now. I can finally sit down a little bit at a time. So I only have the left achy testicle, and I can sit down. And my wife came across this, one of her friends that told her, oh, you got to go see this chiropractor that does, it's called PEMF, something like that. PEMF is like some electrical magnetic pulse or whatever. It was like this big bed. But I was going with them because I still had a little bit of, stomach issues, like wanting to poop. I had a hard time pooping, but I was pooping. I was doing better. So I just went there. I didn't want to go, but then he canceled on us, and then we rescheduled. I didn't want to go, and then it's come on. I ended up going with my wife. I actually drove that day because I was feeling good, and I got there, and I'm telling the doctor, this chiropractor / whatever nutritionist, I don't know what he was, and I was there for the herbs, you know what I mean, to see if he could cure me with the herbs. And then I told him, hey, can you, because he's a chiropractor, I'm like, can you pop my hip, just to, because I feel like, I need to pop it, He was like, oh, no, I cannot touch you, because if you're telling me you're in pain, you had testicle pain. I was like, yeah, it's only an achy left testicle now, I'm okay now. Oh, no, I got something else better for you. You got to try this PEMF, whatever, electrical thing. And I was like, what? I didn't think nothing of it, He's like, oh, you sold me. Like, I gave into it. He put me in this little bed with the pulsing thing, put a blanket on top of me, like plastic with this wire around it. And that thing started hitting my body like electrical. My whole body was jumping, boom, 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 for like 10 minutes. I got out of there. I was feeling kind of dizzy and, a little tired. Are you okay? And I'm like, he was like, oh, this is going to heal you faster, man. You're going to be okay. I went home. I shit you not. 3 hours later, I'm in pain, like burning pain. I can't stop peeing. I couldn't get an erection anymore. It was horrible. I ended up at the ER, man. I ended up at the emergency room. It was so bad, man. I was so much in pain that they even gave me a shot to calm me down, and the pain wouldn't go away. I was crying. I was in tears, man. It was terrible, man. This guy destroyed me. And I'm crying my ass off, and then this guy is like, I called him and I was like, hey, man, that thing hurt me really bad, man. I was fine. And he was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. He was all, scared or whatever. And then I ended up in the hospital. They gave me all this morphine, all this crazy shit just to calm me down. And then the pain was so horrible, man. Still remember, man. I still been having that nightmare. And I was like that. He left me like that for like a week and a half, man. I was suicidal. I wanted to just end myself. It was just too much. I was already feeling like suicidal, but this put me in a different level, man. Put me in a whole different level. And because knowing that I only had a little bit of achy testicle and I still couldn't sit down right, but I was okay. I was getting better, and I wasn't getting up at night to pee. I was actually, every 5 hours I would pee, so I was pretty normal. And man, I scheduled another urologist appointment because this shit was brutal. I ended up going with this other urologist after that happened, and I'm in pain, crying, man. And then this guy was like, well, I'm gonna give you like a nerve block, shot. So he gave me this shot, right? Because I went to this other urologist, and he's the one that told me, hey, you know what? You told me you got prostatitis, because he checked my prostate. I told him, check my prostate because it hurts down there. Like I'm peeing like crazy. And then he's like, oh, it's inflamed. You have prostatitis. That was the first time I heard prostatitis, but I was already ahead of the game. I was. Until it just set me back and made it worse for me. Now I'm fucking crying and terrible, man. In terrible condition now. Constipated for another week and a half, 2 weeks. No erection. For the first time I had, ED. I had never had that. That shit gave it to me. So right now I'm suffering from it right now. It's just, I can't get it, it's reality, and right now I'm peeing like crazy, and I can't get an erection. And so that was the first time I heard, pelvic floor, blah blah blah. He actually told me, you need to go see a pelvic floor therapist. I said, okay, I'm gonna schedule one. I was crying. I got it scheduled for that week. Actually, I went to the urologist on a Tuesday, and then I called the place, and they had an opening on Friday, so I took it. So I went in there, and then she found some heavy, very painful areas inside of my pelvic floor with her finger. So I'm like, she told me, oh, you have a hypertonic pelvic floor. But I told her, yeah, but I wasn't like this. I was already getting better. Blah blah blah. She told me to do massages inside and stretch, and then she gave me this this thing called the pelvic. Well, I bought it, a pelvic wand, to put it in there to try to massage inside. So I'm massaging. I did it a little bit. This is just started. This is like, I've only been doing pelvic floor therapy for 2 weeks. Tomorrow's gonna be my third week. So my third session with her. Very expensive, by the way. You have to pay out of pocket. And this girl, she knows what she's doing because it was referral through a urologist, so they do men. So I got there, and they started massaging me, and it was so painful. So I have to start all over again. Everything is painful now. The stretches, everything is bad, man. Like I'm losing my mind. Last night I couldn't pee. I was actually peeing like crazy. a little bit at a time. I probably woke up like 6, 7 times last night. I haven't slept. It's been going out of control. I've been still depressed, anxiety, still, I have 2 kids, man, so I got to stay strong for them, man. I got a wife, and I'm not working right now. It just set me back really bad, and so now that's pretty much what I had to tell you guys for now. So I'm coming back right now from a urine culture. They never did a urine culture on me, and they never did a sperm culture on me. So today I requested for a urine culture because they always did an analysis. I'm like, no, I want a urine culture. I want to see if I have something else, because I heard that some people can actually have like fungus, in there, and because they always be look by now with all the stuff that I was taking, I should have killed if it was a bacteria, I should have killed it, with the all the stuff that I took, like what do you call it, doxycycline, Cipro, Keflex, levofloxacin, different stuff, So I started doing like a bunch of like herbs and stuff. So I started taking this curcumin. I don't know if you can see it. Curcumin extra strength. Started taking this for pain, for my prostate, to see if it calms down. And then I started taking this one for pain, willow bark. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this. It's kind of like the same effect as an aspirin. So I started taking this for pain, and I started taking a bunch of stuff for my prostate, like saw palmetto. Started taking quercetin. Started taking what else? Started taking a bunch of stuff. I started everything, like I stopped eating gluten. Stop eating gluten. I stopped eating sugar. I became pretty much like almost like I wouldn't say a vegan, but it's kind of like a, kind of like, not, I wouldn't say a vegan, but it's I just stopped eating red meat, because according to what they say is the red meat causes inflammation too. So I stopped taking all that stuff, man. It's been a while though. I stopped eating meat like around, I don't know, sorry, give me a second. Yeah, I stopped eating meat and all that stuff and became healthy like about 8 months ago. That's because they told me about the inflammation stuff. So I stopped eating a bunch of stuff that was like, that was bad. I mean, I was already kind of okay, skinny, but now I dropped another 30 some pounds. So I'm like, I went from 170, I want to say from 178 to like right now I'm like at 143. So I think that all the weight loss was caused by depression and anxiety. So here's all the stuff that I've been taking. Look, so yeah, I don't know what's going on with me. It just got worse. I don't know if you guys have these symptoms. Like, right now I'm gonna tell you what I have right now. Urinating a lot. My testicle pain, kind of the achiness already went away. Now the pain starts on the bottom of my perineal, like the pelvic floor on the very bottom, like between my taint and my testicles. I get like this pain right there, really bad, and then it goes to my bladder. Like it just feels real tense. Like I can't even explain it. It makes me want to pee, and then I feel like I got kicked in the nuts because the pain goes all the way to my stomach, and then I get pain on both sides of the testicles on the very top. Like when the testicle is on the very top, almost to the penis area, around there. That area right there hurts really bad. That's where the pain. I can't. Man, this drives me crazy, and so that's where I'm at right now. But as far as the butt pain and all that, it went away. I was constipated, not anymore, because I think at first I was constipated because my pelvic floor was like really, really, really tight. And now it's I got kind of fixed it a little bit, but now it's the same thing again. Now I every exercise I do, every stretch that was easy for me has become a challenge again. So I don't know. I'm just afraid that I got nerve damage, because remember, I had a vasectomy reversal, and it was just scary, man, to know that something could really mess you up, man. So if they want to give you guys any kind of electrical thing on your body like that, don't do it. Like, especially if it's a bed with that PEMF, stay away from that. You could probably do the tents, the stuff on the leg and the butt, those little light ones. Yeah, you probably could do those, but don't get in the whole big thing, man. Don't do stuff like that. I learned my lesson, man, and I don't, I'm suffering right now as we speak from it. This just happened about a month ago. So right now the pain has calmed down. Still there. Like right now, I just got the urges, like the urgency to pee a lot, and then I get this nasty pain on the perineal, and then my butt, and then it's nasty, man. It's a nasty ass feeling, man. It's the scariest feeling in the world, man. And I was getting over it. That's why I'm so upset, and I'm angry because I was almost there. Like I felt like for the first time, man, and I only enjoyed that moment for 2 days until and then I ended up going to go get that stupid thing, man. I should have just continued that. I should have just continued doing what was working for me instead of trying to do different things. Sometimes doing too much is not good. If you're doing the stretches and you feel a difference, keep doing them. Don't change it. Don't do anything else. Just the only thing you should be changing is your diet to like a more healthy stuff without eating processed foods and for inflammation purposes. You know what I mean? But anything else like that, don't do nothing else, man. Just stick to the same thing, and don't flare up, man. You're gonna flare up. Look, if you're riding a bike, you're gonna more than likely flare up. If you're running too hard, you're gonna probably flare up. I would suggest that you just walk. Just walk. You don't have to run. Just walk. Go for walks, and I think that's what's gonna help you. And I don't know who's gonna watch this video, but that's pretty much my story. I'll be posting more stuff. I'm gonna start posting all the stuff that I've been taking. I've been taking a lot of stuff like this one too. Look, taking this is for prostate inflammation right here. I got a bunch of stuff, man, but I'll do it in another video. But I hope you guys, man. I hope you guys get cured. Whoever watches this video, chronic pain, sucks. It's horrible, man. I never experienced anything like that in my life until now. You can never be too sure, man. So, my advice to you guys is, if you guys have kids, and if you got it, there is a big chance that it might be, you might be passing it along to your kids. Some of us are born with weak pelvic floors. Start teaching them how to stretch, man. It's my advice to you guys. Let everybody know in your family to stretch, do the pelvic floor stuff at least once a week, or at least when they're gonna work out, at least to do pelvic floor stuff, yoga. Let them know, man, because if we stay quiet, how people are gonna know about this stuff? It's true. We gotta pass this thing along so people, because the urologists are not gonna do shit. They're just gonna give you pills and pills and pills and pills. Ultrasound, pills, MRIs, ultrasound, pills. They're not gonna solve the problem. They're not. And we don't know yet. I don't know if I have an infection. It's been so long that I was just diagnosed, according to this doctor, about almost a month ago, that I had prostatitis. So today they sent me to go get finally I got the urine culture, which is, I have never had one. I guess the culture is different. Analysis that they do it right there on the spot to look for STDs. And the culture, I guess they leave it there for a couple days, and they let if there's fungus or any kind of bacteria, it'll start growing. They keep your urine in your body temperature, and then if you have some kind of bacteria, it'll start growing in there. So if you have yeast in there, or if you have a E. coli or whatever, it'll show there. See, I have never done the culture, so it's gonna be my first time doing a urine culture, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see if they come up with something, because I requested it because I saw a guy that requested the urine culture, and he ended up having E. coli. I don't know how he got it. I don't know what means. He probably had a smart urologist that did it for him, but he was having a hard time too. I guess he ended up with a different urologist, and I guess the urologist said, well, we're gonna do a urine culture. So he did it, and it came back that he had E. coli. So the only thing that I'm worried about is if I have E. coli in my prostate, that's gonna be a problem, man, because I don't know how to take that out of there. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't know if the antibiotics, because they give you a different antibiotic. They give you like a fungal antibiotic. Or you know what? You could actually get yeast infections in there too. I looked that up, and women could actually give you a yeast infection, and it goes to your stomach, and then it goes in your bladder or whatever, and then you get that shit in your prostate. Same thing. Look, man, it's nasty because you could get E. coli by kissing. You could get yeast infections by kissing. If the girl has a yeast infection, because they're like, you think of yeast infection, you think down there, in females' privates. That's a lie. You could actually get yeast from it's a fungus that's called Candida, and Candida. That's what people don't understand this. But if you watch this doctor named I believe it's Eric Backer. If you look him up, Eric Backer, Bakker, Eric. All right, that's ERIC, Eric Backer. If you watch his videos on Candida, he says that's what gives a lot of women yeast infections, which is pretty crazy. It's a yeast, and it just develops in. So imagine if you're going down on your girl and she has some kind of a yeast problem and she doesn't know it, because sometimes it takes a while for them to get let's just say they get UTIs, but they never. I mean, you get like urinary tract infections every once in a while, and they don't tell you. What they do, they control it, but it's never. You got to kill. The only way to kill that bacteria is by actually getting on a Candida diet or taking the Candida cleanse or whatever to clean it out, to kill it. So if you're going down on your girl, you might get that shit in your mouth. Now it travels to your stomach, and you start growing that shit. It goes into your system. Now you got a problem. You know what I mean? Same thing with E. coli. You could be having, backdoor sex and it's, with your girl or whatever. Your choice of whatever. I don't care about that. And you can get that inside your prostate, and now you got a problem. So right now, that's my fear right now, is to have some kind of an E. coli or some kind of yeast in there, because, man, I'm urinating a lot. They don't tell you that. Because remember, the antibiotics that they give you, yeah, it's going to kill infections, but it's not going to kill fungus. Fungus, you got to treat it different. And, if you don't think you got fungus, you got a problem, because a lot of us be having, look, if you're having gastro problems, like if you have IBS, like if you're having a hard time pooping, or you get diarrhea all the time and everything you eat makes you sick, if you got acid reflux, you got all that stuff, like you always got heartburn and all that stuff, there is a 90% chance that you have Candida, you have yeast in your body. There's a big chance, and that stuff eats a lot of it stays alive with sugars and fats. If you're eating like greasy foods and processed foods and sugar, that's how it stays alive in your body. And everybody, look, in America, a lot of people are not. We don't eat right. We like to go out and eat fried food, and it's me. I used to go stop at McDonald's or Jack in the Box and stuff like that. Even though I was still kind of healthy, but once in a while we'll get the craves and go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles out here in LA. So, that could have, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that, but I'm just, I'm nervous. I'm scared that, this thing just came back, man, and I was getting better. So, like I said, you're never safe, man. You just got to continue stretching for the rest of your life. That's my advice to you. You can't just, if you feel good, you still got to wake up in the morning, stretch in the morning, or stretch at night. At least